Hello and Happy New Year to you and all. I'm Asa Hamana. And you all know what month it is. It's January. And you all know what January is. It's the official hangover month. Yay! Yeah, you're not probably as excited as I am. I am, if you happen to have a hangover. Sorry for that. But Yes, I have a little surprise for you in case you have a hangover. What it is, I won't tell you. But it also happens to be the year 2012. Finally! Haven't you all been waiting for it? Because you all know what the year 2012 is. It's the official Doomsday Year! Yay! The year when every day could not only be yours, but the entire world's last. So, let's all set up our bets on what day the world will end. And in case you lose, be jolly, because that means that you can live one day longer. And in case you win, who cares? The world has ended.
Yeah. You remember when you were a kid and heard about that Mayan prophecy? Didn't you think that it's only 2012? I still have time. Well, the time has come. And what have you done?
Possibly nothing, because you just turned 18 and now you're just bloody annoyed.
Anyway, we can celebrate the end of the world quite literally in any day of this year. But hey, let's remember that the hangover month comes only once a year.
And I thought that since it is the official hangover month, also known as January, and people are already making those silly promises that, you know, they won't drink or get high or they'll quit smoking. Only to do those very same things the very next day or the next month. So I thought that what better time to talk about PSAs than this? Oh, and before we move on, I have to make this one. So, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, but I just have to do this. I always wanted to do this. How's your hangover? Yeah, that is it. We can now move on.
PSAs. Just the very word will sound an alarm in one's brains, cause we all know that PSAs are only government propaganda telling us that smoking and drinking and doing drugs is bad. And all that healthy stuff that we just don't care.
The only thing they're trying to do is to make us live and prosper longer. And we don't want that. Who wants to live and prosper for 70 years? We just want to live and prosper short and fast. 20 years max. Because we all know that there is no life after 30s.
And PSAs are just notorious for making anything bad. And sometimes they just come as deceitful as ever. Think about the cartoon All Stars to Rescue. Just think about all the time and effort they spend it on that one lousy PSA. And think about it, cartoon All Stars to Rescue. All of our favorite cartoon characters of all time in one special. That's like every kid's wet dream. You have to see it. And then, when you finally see it, what do? They talk about how drugs are bad. And we don't want that. We just want to see them doing cartoony stuff, not talking about drugs. How do they even know about drugs? Do they use drugs? Were they told about drugs? Just how? When? Why? And most importantly, why on earth am I questioning this even though it's blatantly obvious that the creators of that crossover didn't think about it? Huh.
God, I never saw it. Anyway, as I was in elementary school, there was one thing that I remember from there more better than any other. And it was those classes when we were told about how bad smoking, drinking, and doing drugs is. And to be perfectly honest, I always dreaded them. Because I knew that no matter what, I was going to have the laugh of my life. And it's not because I didn't take this seriously. I did. But the speakers. My god, the speakers. Their presentation was always so goofy and over the top that I just couldn't resist.
But one of those classes I remember more better than any other. It was a rather serious one. We had an ex-junkie there talking with an paid speaker, of course.
But that wasn't the point why I remember it. No, it's because they gave out books. So let's dig in on Death Dealer by Rikurin.
Once again, let's look at the cover, and it's excellent. There is a man whose hands are tied, which symbolizes the addictive nature of drugs. Granted, you are going to be quite uncertain about this once you first see it, but it's still an excellent cover. It tells you what the book is about and it gets your attention. And now, for the punch line. I'm pretty damn certain that it's an archive photo. See? It even says that the cover is from Finland's Photos Office company. It has to be a stock picture. And then there's text. What happened when an impaled hand landed on Junkie's hand? Truth, more amazing than fantasy. Yeah, that phrase was old even when it was new. And all this text just reminds me of a front page of a tabloid. But there's something that just makes me smile every time I see it. There's this text that says that it's a school edition, not meant to be sold. And why? Because in the final pages we have a bunch of book ads. And one of those book ads happens to be this very book. This just baffles me. I mean, what were they thinking? I mean, am I supposed to go and buy this very same book that I already have? Or is that just supposed to imply that this is part of a series or what? I mean, I just don't get it. It's not even a very good ad. It gives you the entire plot. No, seriously. The entire plot is in this. And and by that I mean that the entire story is summarized. Yeah, that's a very good ad. And then we have the back cover. But I can summarize it that it's a plot summary. No, seriously, it's a summary of the entire story, just like the ad.
And you know what? In a weird way, I have to admire this. No, really, I am. It's a very stupid way, but they are trying to do something different. I mean, all the other books have in their back covers that same old cliches like excitement, roller coaster of excitement, love, passion, heat, world peace, etc., etc. This is trying to do something different. It doesn't work, but at least it's trying. And then we have to remember that this is a PSA, so it's trying to give you the message even if you don't read the book, and it's don't do drugs.
Anyway, in this video I was supposed to talk about smaller publishers, but then I did some research and it turned out that Gummerus, who published this, has about 200 authors in their rights list. I don't know what it's called, and had been around since the late 19th century, like most of Finnish publishers. But then I started to think, why I haven't heard about these guys before? And then it turned out that they only have about 3 authors who are famous. And those are Sinikka Nopola, Kalle Päätalo, and late politician, poet, and the captain of Finnish version of Have I Got News for You, Tommy Taberman, the master of love. And it doesn't really help that Gummerus is in financial crisis. And the place where this was published, the printing place in Jyväskylä, was defunct in 2010. Moving on, the other publisher of this novel is Kuvan Sana, which is a religious organization, which, as you can guess, publish religious stuff and probably have contracts with Gummerus or something to publish their books. I really don't know, my research isn't that great. But keep that in mind, we talk about Kuvan Sana later. And as we finally open this book, we see a table of contents. And it tells us two things. One of them which is that we should skip the first 8 pages because there's nothing important there. But since I am an idiot, I'm going to read them anyway. And the other thing is that we have chapter names. Actual, factual, real chapter names. This just keeps getting better and better. And those chapters are written in melodramatic way, something that we are going to get quite used to. So let's turn another page, and it's a page long dedication. So we are just going to skip it and turn another page, which has the words of friend. I'm starting to think of Caligula for reasons. Okay, so now we shall skip that too. And on another page, we have the starting words of something, and I'm wishing that I just skipped all this and went on page 15. Also, I'm rolling my eyes for this. So let's skip this too, and turn another page, on which we have Bible quotes, making this book classy and making me wishing that I was watching Caligula. Because at least in that movie we have Malcolm McDowell in it.
I swear to God, if I turn another page and it just turns out to be another page full dedication, I call it quits. What's the point? I already know how it ends.
So let's skip this too and turn another page, and wouldn't you know it, it's another page long dedication.
That's it. I'm done. Live long and prosper. Asahmana. Peace out.